Hi everyone, hope you're doing really well. My name's Josh Harrison, a warm welcome to the channel and a warm welcome to this video. I've been asked a really great question, and that is, Josh, how do you work out what the house is going to be worth once you've done a refurbishment? Now, I'm on the computer here, as you can tell, so there's no picture of me, forgive me for that. I'm trying out a new piece of software, it's called OBS, and I'm trying to record this, so thanks for bearing with us. Now, I must really say that the end value is really a prediction. It's looking into the future, thinking what a house might be worth. And the reality is a house is only ever worth what someone agrees to sell it for and agrees to buy it for, and it's only accurate then at that precise point in time. House prices, like anything else, will go up and down. So I must say right at the beginning, when we are looking into the future and trying to predict what a house might be worth, it is an art, not a science. And I'm going to explain to you how I get to what I think is a reasonable assumption, but it is an assumption. You'll have to understand, if you're going to be thinking about doing a refurbishment with the idea that the house might be worth more in the future, then it can't be precise. And that will, for some, might make them feel a little bit uneasy, but that is the real truth behind it. So the question is then, how do we work out what a house might be worth at some point in the future following a refurbishment? Now, I have just popped up on screen now an iCard. If you would like a bit of context about this video, then feel free to just check that video out. You might find it helpful. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to imagine I'm investing in an area different to where I'm currently investing now. Now, I haven't just chosen some random place. I am actually going to go back to where I grew up, because it's important you know your local area. So I could have chosen any random place in the country, and that wouldn't be nearly as informed as actually knowing somewhere where I'm investing. And I also hope you'll forgive me for not actually doing some analysis in my own patch, in my own investment area. That just wouldn't make much commercial sense for us. But I do like to be above board and really clear with you. There's a verse in the Bible that says to be as wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. So I'm trying to be wise, but I'm trying to be harmless too. So first of all, I'm going to try and find a house that I might like to buy and do up. So I'm looking for a property type. Let's just find it. I'm trying to find a house that we can use as an example of something I'm hoping to buy and do a refurbishment on. That's this stage of the video. So I grew up in M1 5JE, and this house is trying to find a suitable house. So the garden needs some work. It certainly looks like an older person's house, as does that. Kitchen definitely needs modernising. The garden again. Yes, this could do with some modernisation. It's not untidy or unpleasant. It just needs modernising if you're going to stick a family in it. Certainly for the bathroom, some decking, but the garden again. This house looks perfect for a little refurb. So I'm going to say we're looking to buy this property on Lloyd Road for £215,000 ish. So the question is then, if we are going to do a refurbishment, what do we think the house might be worth once that work has been done? Now, there are a number of ways we can get indicators for what the house might be worth. And I say indicators because, again, we can't be absolutely certain. So how do we get an indication of what a house is going to be worth in the future? And I'm going to give you two ways that can help you. The first one is to try and find other houses that are very similar to this. So it's going to be a 3-bed terrace house, perhaps with a little front garden, similar sort of layout perhaps, that have already sold. Because then we know if our house is similar to what's sold, but they're done in a beautiful condition, then we can have an indication to what ours might be worth. I'm just clicking on a floor plan because it's helpful just to see what we've got going on here. So a sitting room and a kitchen, dining room. Now, typically they normally are switched around in this area, but there we are. Conservatory on the back, and then bedroom 1, 2 and 3. By the way, so numbered because of the size of the bedroom. So bedroom 1 being the largest. And we've actually got a shower room. Let's just quick look at that a second, because Again, I haven't visited this property and I haven't inspected it. This is a hypothetical property I'm interested in buying, but I'd want to know if I can get a bath in there and put a shower over the bath and turn it into a bathroom, not a shower room for family tenants. But let's say we're going to be looking at this house. So how much do we think it's worth once we've done a modernisation and a little refurb? Now, let's say the best way to do it is, or one of the strongest indicators is find out what has already sold that's similar to yours. So NN1, I've just gone on, actually, house prices, sorry. Sold house prices. Postcode NN1 5JE, there it is. And you're going to look for properties that are similar in style and size, but are done up. And I actually have a sheet that I record this information on, but I'm going to do it on a piece of paper next to me, and you might wish to jot things down as a bit of an exercise if you want to, because it just might be helpful to go through the process. Now, we would need to find a house that's similar, so it's got to be terraced because ours is terraced. We're also looking for freehold because we're only going to buy freehold properties, and I definitely only am interested in properties in the last year. Now, don't worry if it says there aren't any matches. We've got the area to play with. And I'm just going to go to 1/4 mile. Now, you don't wish to go any further, even though we've got 26 properties within 1/4 mile. If I go to 1/2 mile, you might say, well, look, there are 76 properties. But I can tell you from knowing my area that this area over here is not as good as NN1, this area over here on Lloyd Road. And also this area over here is even going to be more valuable. And even these terrace streets here right next to Abington Park are even more valuable again. So 1/2 mile is just not comparable. 1/4 mile, even over here, this side of town, as you go into the Wellingborough Road, if there are any properties on our search here, they're not going to be as valuable as the ones over here. So 1 year, terrace properties, the same style, and only 1/4 mile. And we're just going to now look through the pictures and see if we can find something that's done but similar to the one we're trying to buy, and then we'll jot down the addresses and the prices. So 143 Lutterworth Road. Let's look at the pictures. Is it similar? Is it done up, and is it similar to ours? Now, the first thing I'm noticing is there's no small front garden. So ours is perhaps going to be worth more. Let's just look at the condition. That's nice and tidy so far. Kitchen is certainly usable. That's fine. Is it perfectly tidy? So this certainly looks tidy. And bathroom is totally usable. You could perhaps use something with a bit of the garden space. So this could be maybe not a direct comparable. Has got a basement though. But I still think that our property with a front garden as well as a rear garden, even with the basement considered, I would expect our property to be worth more than 219,000. So on my piece of paper, I'm just writing 143 Lutterworth Road, and I'm putting down £219,000 with a little up arrow. I think ours, if we were to do it and do it up, would be worth more than 219,000. Done one. 60 Lutterworth Road, no pictures, can't do the comparison. 15 Barry Road, 3-bed terrace, 247. Is this comparable? 247. Now, straight away I can tell you, although it's got a front garden, which is nice, and a double bay, just like a front garden and a double bay, the obvious difference is this is a semi, or an end of terraced, sorry, and it's got a little extension to the right-hand side. And if you click on the floor plan, can I? Yes, so it's a single-storey extension. And go back to the pictures. It's a nice-looking house. Certainly, it's very nice, very beautiful It's a nice end value for a 3-bed end of terrace, but I'm suggesting that is not a comparable for a 3-bed terraced. So I'm going to write down here on mine, on my sheet, 15 Barry Road and 247. It's going to be less than 247. I don't think it's going to get close to 247 because that's what a 3-bed end of terraced is selling for. I know it really should say end of terrace here, but so I think it's going to be worth less than 247. Let's keep going. So I don't need to look at 40 Lutterworth Road. That's a 4-bed terrace. So 305,000, not a comparable. A 3-bed terrace at 34 Lutterworth Road. Let's have a quick look at this. Is this a comparable house in terms of what it looks like? And would ours look that nice when done? So the beautiful thing is, yes, it's got a little front garden. Only got 1 bay, not 2. Not really a problem. What does it look like? Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? That's a gorgeous looking house, actually. Beautiful. Yeah, garden's not as big, note that. But I think that would be a very solid comparable. So that was 34 Lutterworth Road, and that was 242,500. And I'm going to put a little tick by that. I think that's very likely, very reasonable end value of 242,500. 40 Lutterworth Road is a 4-bed, so I'm not going to touch that. Collins Street. Now I can tell you Collins Street is right near Wellingborough Road. There's a pub right on the corner. That's a pub right in the corner. And it's also not done up either. So I can tell you that 3 Collins Street is not a comparable. I'm not going to make any note of that. 45 Ardington Road, again, it's a completely different structure, style, property style, and it's a 4-bed. 360 is not a comparable. 57 Whitecliff Road, so have a quick look at this. 203. That sounds nice and low. 203. It's not really done up, is it? No, so it's not done up. So I'm not going to use that as an end value. 106 Lutterworth Road. It's a 3-bed. Let's have a quick look at this one. It is a terraced. Well, of course it is a terrace. We selected that. Let's just have a look at it. That looks lovely. So look at it. Keep looking. Garden isn't particularly large. It's larger than the patio area though. That house looks nice and tidy. That's a reasonable comparable. I would say that would be, for me, I'd say that was a reasonable comparable. Quick look at the floor plan. So it has got a basement. Actually, they've used it a bedroom. So why they've sold it as a 3-bed, not a 4? Maybe it's something to do with building works. I'm not sure, but it's the floor plan is a 4-bed because that's perhaps how it's being used. But perhaps it can't be advertised as a 3-bed, so they've only advertised it as a 3-bed. It's also got 2, a shower room and a bathroom. So, but no front garden, and the rear garden is not as big. So 240, I think, is also a reasonable comparable. Again, it's not going to be precisely like the one we're trying to buy, but I think 240 is. That's 106 Lutterworth Road. 240 is quite reasonable. 32 Sandringham Road would not be a comparable. It's a 4-bed. 51 Lutterworth Road, 3-bed. Let's have a quick look at this one. Great. So it's got a nice little front garden. Perhaps not as big as this one. Well, certainly not as big as that one, but it has got a front garden. Single bay, not double. Is it refurbished nicely or ready to sell or rent out? The answer is looking good. That's a downstairs toilet. Pipes have been insulated. Looks like a relatively modern boiler. Don't know if it's new or not, but a Worcester Bosch. bathroom looks very nicely done. That looks fairly recent as well. So that looks like it's got a basement. No floor plan, so I can't confirm that, but that looks like a basement to me. But it's nicely done, not as large rear garden. But I would say 51 Lutterworth Road would be a very good indicator. 51 Lutterworth Road would be fairly reasonable at 241,000. And really then you've sort of got three that are quite close together. You've got 106 Lutterworth Road at 240, you've got 51 Lutterworth Road at 241, and 34 Lutterworth Road at 242.5. So you've got a little cluster of three there that could be a reasonable likely end value. Now I could keep going, but I'm not going to because of time. But just to summarise then, we think it's going to be worth more than a 219 because we think 143 Lutterworth Road is too low. But I think it's going to be less than 247,000, which was 15 Barry Road, and that was a 3-bed end of terrace. So how would I then go about thinking about the end value? Well, I would say 240 was going to be my likely end value. I would say 235 was my worst case, and I'd say 245 at my best case. So I would say worst case 235, likely case 240, and best case 245. At this point on solds, I'd then also quickly flick over to properties to buy and just see what's currently on the market. Again, be mindful of where you are in the buying cycle, because at the moment lots of properties are going for asking price or even above asking price. So if it's an up market or a down market or a steady market, be mindful of what, because often properties don't sell for what they're advertised for. Typically, apart from at the moment they are. So houses anytime include sold subject to contract. Houses, I'm going to say I'm only interested in houses at the 230 mark up to the 250 mark. Just seeing what's on the market in a quarter of a mile. Is anything excuse me. So 4 results. This is sold subject to contract. This is Lloyd Road, no front garden, 250. Done. Looks nice. Again, I would go through the pictures, but 250, 239, 239, 230. So if you say that to me, that would confirm the spread. 240 is likely. You could perhaps get 245, and this is on for 250. So if it's sold a bit under that at 245, that would be reasonable. And 235, I would say, is my worst case scenario. And they are 2 ways I would get an indication on the GDV of a property after refurbishment. I hope you found this interesting and helpful. If you did, then please give us a like up. If you didn't, give us a thumbs down. If you think you'd like to hear a bit more about the way we talk about things and explain things, excuse me, my voice is going, then please feel free to join this lovely little but growing community and hit subscribe. Hit also the bell notification icon, then you'll be notified first when we get new videos released. Thank you ever so much for your support. We always appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.